Good morning. I'm gonna try to do some touch and goes. I'm using my HP Reverb J2, and I'm using my valve index controllers, and so just gonna do some touch and goes. I also have a new yoke, and I have a Fulcrum 1. And I'm kind of trying to get used to how that thing works. I'm going to start off with using the default Cessna 172, and after a few touch and goes, I don't know how many, maybe 3, 4, I'm going to switch to the Reality Expansion Pack 172, and we'll see how different that turns out to be. So, without further ado, let's see if I can get this plane started up and kind of go from there. So, I'll go ahead and turn the master on and check a couple of things. Yeah, it's not too bad. And put the mixture in. Okay. Turn it on. Should have the beacon on. I'll turn the texture light on. We'll turn the avionics on. Alrighty. Get the altimeter set. Get the... Yeah, I ain't quite got my cockpit in the right position, but I should be okay to fly. Let me check here. Yeah. That's my desk right there. My desk should be further back, but I think I'll be okay. I think I'll be okay. So we're gonna go ahead and let the plane start up a little bit. We got half a tank of fuel. That should be good. And we'll go ahead and see what ATA says.
KERI INTL Tom Ridge FLD information Charlie. 2000 Zulu weather. Wind light and variable. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 1700 overcast. Temperature 1, dew point -4. Altimeter 3032. Arriving runway 24, departing runway 24. Advise on initial contact you have Charlie.
Alrighty, so the hey, how's it going, Betty? So the ceiling right now is 1700 overcast, which means that my pattern altitude is 1800, so doing touch and goes may be a little bit of a challenge. I may have to fly like a little bit below it, but we won't know till we try. And so yeah, hey, Benny, I'm using that my HP Reverb G2. I'm in X-Plane, and I am using the I'm using my my valve index controller. So yeah, I like using my valve index controllers, and for Microsoft Flight Simulator, I cannot get them to work right. I'll probably do another stream later on, not today, probably tomorrow, and I'm going to use the G2 controllers and see if that works better. I'm going to probably do that tomorrow, but I wanted to jump back in X-Plane and use the G2 with my valve index controllers. So, but yeah, there's quite a bit in Microsoft Flight Simulator and VR that's pretty rough. So, okie dokie. Yeah, it looks like we got green, so I'm gonna release the parking brake. Hello. And give a little bit of fuel. Yeah, if the weather's too bad, I may just change the ceiling a little bit, but we'll see how bad it looks. It's seriously overcast. Yeah, I normally an X-Plane fly with pilot ATC, but for this stream, it's more, I'm more trying to test, well, first of all, the index controllers with the G2 and also my my new yoke, just trying to get comfortable with it. It's quite different than the Satec yoke I was using before, so it has a big throw. So I need to stop right here. This is a runway here, make sure everything's good. Yeah, we're good. Going across. Whoops. A little too much power there. Yes, I use a yoke. I have a Fulcrum 1 yoke, and I also use MFG crosswind pedals. So even though I have touch controllers, I only use those to like run the throttle, run the mixture, switches, and but for flying I use a yoke, and I use pedals. So, but everything else, I don't use any. I only use maybe 1 or 2 buttons on the yoke. The one I do is to basically make the yoke in the virtual cockpit invisible. It just makes it a little easier to see the switches. So, and basically I am sitting in front of my desk, and I have see if I can do this without crashing. So I have my, when I'm putting my touch controller against the edge of my desk, it's right about there. In all reality, I would want my desk to be a little bit further back, and in X-Plane I can adjust my seat position to do that. So it's off by a little bit, but it's not enough that it's going to bother me. If the desk gets further back, it allows you to come down here and hit all the switches without hitting your desk, because your desk would be basically behind these switches. Oops. No influence whatsoever. My touch controllers don't control. Let me rephrase that. If I have the yoke on, and I can affect the yoke. So what I do is I turn the yoke off so that I can put my touch controller in the same place, and the yoke doesn't get highlighted. So that's why I fly without a yoke being displayed, for that reason. Alrighty, so we're down here at the end of, not the end, the beginning of runway 24, and it'll be kind of entertaining to see how bad the clouds are. Hopefully I won't have to make any adjustments, but I just leave them on. They're on all the time. Whoops. I don't take them off. So when I fly an airplane, I have been taught and trained, when I fly an airplane, I only use my left hand, and I only use fingertips to move the yoke. I don't put 2 hands on the yoke. I don't need to. If the plane is in trimmed, it's irrelevant. You don't need to do that. But it's very important to keep the airplane in trim. If it's in trim, that will happen. So it was, for the first 10 hours of when I was learning how to fly an airplane, my instructor did not stress how important trim was. once I learned what trim was, because what would happen is when I would take off and do like a pattern, so I would take off, make a left-hand turn, and make another left-hand turn. Normally, at that point in time, you would make a radio call. So you would have to push a button in on the yoke. I had so much pressure on the yoke, I had a hard time holding the button in. And I happened to fly with a different instructor after about 10 hours. And he goes, "Do you know how to trim an airplane?" And I went, "I don't think I do." He taught me how to do it, and whenever I fly an airplane, they're always in trim. Alrighty, ready to go see what we can do here. Does look a little interesting. 1,800 feet's going to be a bit of fun. May have to pause and fix the weather, but we'll see. We'll see how close they are in their forecast. Alrighty, runway 24. Make sure we got everything lined up here. Oh, she's off a little bit. Oh no, she's pretty close. Yeah, that's not bad. That'll be okay. Alrighty, give her full power. When I put the power in, I did that with my touch controllers. So we're looking for about 60, 65 knots. Using my rudders to try to keep me down the runway, 65 knots, pull back on the yoke a little bit. If the plane's trimmed right, it should climb up at about 85 knots. I'm right at 80 knots. Plane is trimmed. Trim for takeoff, that's what that means. When you're climbing out here, you're trying to, two things. You're trying to climb about as quick as you can to get altitude, and then maintaining the runway heading. So we're doing both of that, 80 knots, between 75 and 80 knots, not too problem. Turning a little bit here. Try to straighten her back up a little bit, and look down, see where I'm at. There's the tower. Look down, that's the end, that's the runway 6, the opposite side of 24. Whoops. Okay, we're at 1,800. I'll pull the power back to 2,000. Let it level off just a little bit. Might be okay, because I'm right in 1,900, and I don't see. I'm far enough below the cloud cover that I should be good. So we're going to make I'm making a turn. I'm going to turn to a heading of 150. Coming into 150, pull up on the yoke a little bit, try to get her to straighten up. Yeah, we're good. So we're, the RPMs went up a little bit because of when I turned. So I'm a little bit too high. But I've dropped down a little bit, looking back, see where I'm at. Okay, heading to 060. Yeah, a little steep in the turn, but not terrible bad. Okay, we're coming up on 060. Straighten her up. So she's still climbing. So I'm going to pull back on the power a little bit because I got too much power, and shove her down a little bit. I've climbed a little bit more than I need to. At this point in time, I'm not using any ATC, but what I would say is KERI Tower Cessna 256 Bravo Golf, downwind runway 24. Request touch and go. And that's basically what you would say at this point in time. I'm going to back it down to like about 1,800. If I'm at 2,200, I should be at 1,800. So I'm just trying to get her down a little bit. So I'm in the white arc. I'm going to throw out 1 notch of flaps. The plane balloons up. I got to fight it a little bit with the push the yoke in a little bit to prevent it from ballooning. Because right now I should be at 1800, and when I make the turn over here, I probably should be at about 1500. So I'm high. I'm definitely too high. So I'm going to probably extend my downwind just a little bit. There's a 4-lane highway down here, Interstate 79, that is kind of like a landmark for me to kind of know when it's about ready to turn. So I'm flying a heading of a 060. And there you can see the 4-lane highway. And like I said, the plane's in trim. I'm not on the yoke at all right now. My hands are here. So we're going to make a turn here. It's going to turn to a heading of 330. So we're just doing a kind of what it's called a standard rate turn. So here you can see there's 2 marks where the little airplane is, 330 on there. So you basically are trying to stay in between those 2 marks. Oh yeah, no doubt that looks pretty interesting. I will have to play with that. Yeah, we have that in, I have that in X-Plane. I'm not using it right now, but I have, it's kind of like, it's called Avatab, and I think I did show that to you, and but they don't seem to have the same thing for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Okay, I'm dropping like a little bit quicker than I want to. So I give it a little bit more power. Go ahead and turn on to a heading of a 160, and also forgot to put my 2nd notch of flaps in. So we're looking for the runway here. And I can from this distance with the G2, I can absolutely see the PAPI lights there. And right now they're all red, so I am too low. So I need to give myself a little more power to get the plane to rest a little bit. I got 1 PAPI light now. Because my airspeed's pretty good. My airspeed, it's a little low, but it's right at 60 knots right now. So now I'm too high, so we can pull back on the power a bit. Yeah, that's what that is right there. Okay, last notch of flaps. We're coming in way too steep. But we'll see what we can do here. Not bad. So down the runway? Yeah. I'm not too. 65 knots, up we go. Yeah, see, my airspeed's like about 95 knots. It's too fast, so I'm pulling up on the yoke a little bit, so I'm climbing a little steeper, and to get the airspeed down. So wasn't my better approaches, but we pulled it out in the end. Yeah, no, a twist grip is not, that's too difficult for me. A yoke and pedals is how I like to fly. Alrighty, we're at 1,800 feet. I'll pull back to 2,000. Go ahead and make a turn here. Still trying to keep standard rate turns here. 150. Straighten her up. Look back and make sure I'm at 90 degrees with the runway. So 060 should be parallel with the runway. Yeah, this here is it's a Fly with Lua script. Fly with Lua is a plugin that I'm the head of development currently. I'm not the author of it. But I am the head of development. So it allows you to write Lua scripts for X-Plane, and so basically this is just a script in a Lua script, and that basically works. The cool thing is that the you can write a script in and it can work in 2D or VR, and the script is the same. It's no different, and which is really cool for adding things into VR. So, and like I said, I'm not the author. I'm just the head of development. The author had some changes in his life, and he couldn't continue to keep development of it. So he kind of passed it to me. So I need to put out a notch of flaps, shove down the yoke a little bit, prevent the plane from blowing it up too much. I think I'm blowing a little bit because I'm a little bit low, but we'll be okay. Yeah, I'm looking for something similar in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm not sure I found it yet, but it would be cool if you could do that. Because the great thing is you can, like, you don't have to restart the flight sim to basically, you can make a change in the script and just reload it. And so you don't have to restart the flight sim, and whatever change you made is active. So, one more notch of flaps. What's in my airspeed? And it was like about 50 or 45 or 50. I went, well, that's no good. Alrighty. We're on a heading of 330. And people that have watched my stream before, this is KERI. This is Erie, Pennsylvania. And we have an overcast ceiling of about 1800. And right out in front of us is our peninsula, about 300 acres. A peninsula that's 300 acres in size, so it's pretty big. Out on the lakeside, there's beaches, and on the bay side, that's where that's kind of like protected. And so there's like a harbor, you know, because of the peninsula. It's protected. So. Okay, we're high enough. I'm going to put the last notch of flaps in. Get the nose pointed down a little bit more. Whoops, a little bit too much. Also pull the power back a little too much, kind of like, well, no. Up. Full power. Up we go. Yeah, that was a better approach. The airspeed was a little bit too low, but it wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. And I stalled it right before I touched the wheel, so that was pretty good. Yeah, minus 174 feet. That's not too bad. Butter would be under 100. Alrighty. So, putting out your flaps up. A little bit low. I think when I do this landing, I'm going to do a full stop, go over in the parking area, change out my plane, and see how poorly I do with the reality expansion pack plane. It's a lot more realistic, so I'm not so sure how well it's going to be. It's going to take me a little while to get it warmed up and get ready to fly with it. So. Oh yeah, it's way more realistic. When I first got VR, very first VR headset, I was doing the same thing. I was doing some touch and goes, and I was using a reality expansion pack. This was quite a few years ago, so I was in a hurry to take off. So I didn't allow the engine to warm up, and I was 800,000 feet above the ground, and I could kind of hear the engine kind of like it was not happy with me whatsoever, and so at about 1,000 feet above the ground, the engine died. You could just hear it, and all of a sudden the prop stopped, like right straight in front of you. You're kind of going like, okay. You've been trained in a real airplane, you would never turn. But I'm not in a real airplane, I'm in a simulator. So I kind of, I just did a real gradual turn. And the runway here is 8,500 feet. It's a big, long runway. And so I did a really slow turn. And spun it around and got the runway underneath me. Did one of my better landings in all reality, and it kind of like went, well, that was pretty cool. So I learned to make sure that the engine was warmed up before I ever take off again. But it was my one of my first experiences with VR. That was like so realistic that from that point forward, until Microsoft Flight Simulator come out, I never flew on a flat screen again. I only flew in VR, so. But Microsoft Flight Simulator kind of forced me to fly in a flat screen. I did that for a little while, but I think I flew with a flat screen for, I don't know. I don't think a few days, and I went ahead and ordered a Track IR system. I had one, but I got rid of it, and so I ordered Track IR to kind of at least be able to turn your head and like look, you know, for doing landings and circuits and that kind of stuff. So, alrighty, you got to get rid of some power here. We're way too high. Yeah, looking not too bad, about 52 knots. So I'm a little bit slow, but not too bad. Oh, perfect. Alrighty, I'm gonna get stopped here. Flaps up. Yeah, oh yeah, that one was better. Yeah, see, that's like minus 71, so that's a really nice landing. So, we'll turn in here. See if I can find the area I'm looking for. I gotta go down here a little bit. I know what I'm looking for. There's like a run-up area out here, and I may have landed. There's the tower. Not quite sure. If I see a taxiway, I went too far. Maybe coming up. Yeah, it's this area right up here. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Alrighty. So, get over here. Yeah, when we would when I would do training flights, we would this area here. We would I'm gonna put the parking brake on. This is where we would do run-ups, and I distinctly remember a day in maybe in this month in January. You can see where the tower is, and I distinctly remember coming out here, and I was looking out, you know, towards the end of the runway where the 6 is, and I'm flying with an instructor, and I'm looking, and like the whole where that tree line is, I couldn't see it. It's gone. I says, what is that? And shortly thereafter, we found out what it was. It was a snowstorm. The snowstorm comes so quick and so hard that we're sitting here, and in the meanwhile, there was what was that? It was a twin engine regional plane, and he had taxied past us. He was getting ready to take off, and so as we're sitting right here, all of a sudden on the tower comes and it says whatever our call sign was, I don't remember it at this point. Whatever it says, where are you? The tower from that distance couldn't see us. It was snowing that hard. What their bigger concern was is to make sure that we and the commercial plane kept away from each other. So so we waited. The commercial plane had to go around, go back, taxi back the runway, and go over and get de-iced. He had to get de-iced again because there was that much snow in the plane he couldn't take off. And by the time we got back to the hangar and put the plane away, there were 3 inches of snow on the plane. It's just incredible. And you couldn't. These planes don't have windshield wipers, so I couldn't see the taxi. So I said to my instructor, I says, "Your airplane." I says, "I can't see." so he taxied us back to the hangar. So, but that was one of the crazier days of that I've ever had flying an airplane. Okay. So we'll get some lights shut off here. I'll get the avionics shut off. I'll pull out the mixture, shut these guys off, and we'll see if I can go load up a different airplane. So I'm going to fly this airplane here. Start new flight. Gonna wait for X-plane to kind of get done, put me in the airplane. Alrighty. So I'll put this back over here. I get myself lined up with the yoke. Okay, that's a little bit better. Not completely better, but we'll see how well that goes. Nope. Yeah, give me a second here. I'll make sure I can get to all the switches. Okay. So, I'm going to need to, before I do that, because this plane is a bit of a pain in the ass to start. So, let's open up checklist. Next.
2 brakes. Test and set. 3 fuel selector. Both. 4 fuel shut-off valve. On, in. 6 beacon. On. 7 avionics switch. Off. 8 master switch. On. 9 throttle. Open 1/4 inch. 10 mixture. Idle cut off. A auxiliary pump. On. B mixture. Rich until 3 to 5 GPH, then cut off. C auxiliary pump. Off. 12 starter. Engage. 1 ignition switch. Start. 2 mixture, at engine start. Rich. 3 engine.
Alrighty. That's good enough. Actually, I'm going to pull that back. I'll wait for the... I'm going to get a message here that tells me the engine is running too low in RPM, and there should be a message that shows up if everything's working right. There it is. So all I gotta do is figure it out. What I can't figure out is why I can't grab it. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to put that right about here. So basically it says the spark plugs will foul if I don't speed up the engine. So I'll pull it up to about 1,000 and then that message will go away. So you can see it's there now. So these are the things, you know, so I have my landing rate thing. This is the my plane command for doing voice stuff. And so right now we're kind of waiting for the airplane to start up. So turn the
KERI INTL Tom Rich FLD information Oscar 2100 Zulu weather. Wind light and variable, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 1700 overcast, temperature 1, dew point -4. Altimeter 3032. Arriving runway 24, departing runway 24. Advise on initial contact you have Oscar.
Okay, so it sounds like it didn't change any. So like I said, if I Ooh, that don't look good. Yeah, I'll put some fuel in this thing. So, let's see if I can do that. Plane, customize. Weight and balance. Total fuel. Done. There we go. Okay, so I got my beacon on, got my taxi light on. I've checked ATIS. The altimeter looks pretty close. And I think we're okay. So I should be able to release the parking brake and taxi over to the runway. Oh yeah. We'll see how different this is. The my seat position in the airplane is not the same as the other one. I'm not going to take the time to fix it, but I will fix it later, and I think it's related to the fact of the last time I flew this plane, I may have been with my valve index, and so the tracking and all that stuff, it may be a little bit different, and so I may have to redo that. So, but I'm not going to take the time right now to do that. I think I can work through without stop here. I think I can work through it and without too much issue, so I don't think it'll affect me flying too much. Find out. So, across runway 220 and make a turn here on taxiway A. Ooh, yeah, so whoops. Yeah, I can see the temperature of the plane is in the green, so we should be good. So this is a little quicker taxi than I normally would do in a real plane, but when I got these rudder pedals, these MFG crosswind pedals, when I first got them, the one test I did is to see how fast I could taxi. I actually was on this taxiway taxiing fast enough, I actually took off. I was taxiing that fast, I actually actually took off and kind of went, okay, I guess I do a circuit now. So, but that's how I was checking to see how well the pedals work. They actually work. They work quite well. They're really, really nice. Not cheap, but they are really nice. So I'm running out of runway, or taxiway here. So pull the power back here. So I pulled the power back, and I also pulled the mixture back just a little bit. Yep, not too much. Okay. So I pulled back the mixture enough that that I'm not fouling the engine. Alrighty, so we'll go ahead and see how well this goes. So I'll put my mixture back in and give me some power to get going here. And runway 24 is still the active runway, so yeah, like I said, this particular airplane is it is basically the default airplane with what's called a reality expansion pack. It's put on it, so basically it improves the handling, and also it also adds damage. So if you do something bad, you will get damage. 65 knots should be able to take off. Okay. Okay. Not doing too bad. Yeah, that isn't quite right. There we go. My heading indicator, partly because of it's a more accurate model. My heading indicator was off by about 10 degrees, so it was saying I was running 230 as opposed to 240. So, alrighty, there's the tower. So we'll see how all this goes. There's where we came from. So go ahead and make a turn here. Back on the power. Oops. Went back to 2,000 RPM. Trying to be parallel with the runway here. Alrighty. I'll turn to a heading of 060. Alrighty, heading of 060. Looking for the end of the runway here. Okay. It's the end of the runway. I'm in the white arc. I should be able to put out a notch of flaps. Trying for an airspeed here of about 70, 75. Maintaining 060. Alrighty. Going to a heading of 330. Another notch of flaps. Looking for the runway. These are railroad tracks that runs right underneath the runway, or right alongside the runway, sir. Pappies are saying I'm a little bit too low. One white, three reds. Let's give it just a little bit more power. There we go. One notch of the last notch of flaps. So I'm just a little bit above 1500 RPM. Yeah, that wasn't any good. I went to shove my rudder in and my chair went back and I went, oh crap. Oh, come on, get straightened up here, Bill. Okay. Alrighty. Up we go. Yep. Yeah, the reality expansion pack does all of that. I have to trim this plane completely differently now, and it is way different. It acts way different, and it's supposed to be closer to a real 172. So it's been way too many years since I've flown in a real 172 that I personally can't make that judgment. I have a friend that's training. That basically says that this is as close as he's ever found in X-plane to a real 172. So it's why I try to get back to it as quickly as I can. But like I said, I mean, I'm flying a completely different yoke than my Satek. This Fulcrum 1 is really, really nice. So it also acts different. So. Okay, we're going to get to a heading of 060. Make her level. Yeah, so the difference between the Fulcrum 1 yoke and the Satek Cessna yoke that I was flying is this Fulcrum yoke, the throw is 8 inches in, 8 inches out. There isn't another yoke on the market for the home simmer that you can buy that has this kind of throw. And the throw left and right, it's 90 degrees, like most of the better yokes are. So, but the 8 inches on the throw means that I generally can do like really, really good landings because you have that much more control. You can just do subtle control. So, alrighty, we're just going past the threshold, so I'll throw 1 notch of flaps on. Try to get the plane like pointed down a little bit. Oh, okay. Alrighty. We'll turn to a heading of 330. Let's throw another notch of flaps. Good. Almost too much. You can see the airspeed dropping. Yeah, I'm really happy with the yoke. It took me, wow, I think it was 1.5 years since I made the decision. Actually, when trying to remember the name, I can't remember it now. There was a new yoke that just come out, I think, last year. I was almost ready to buy that one, and I decided to wait. And must have been a year before, and I decided to wait on this one. That turned out to be 1.5 years wait, but I'm so glad I waited. So glad. Plane like this particular version like drops like a rock. It's so different than the default one. That's not the flats. Oh, much better. Much better. Up we go. Yeah, that was a way better approach, I could tell. I had the plane trimmed for about 60 knots all the way in from probably just about on my turn from final. It was trimmed for 60 knots, and so until I started flaring, I really didn't have to actually pull back on the yoke at all. So that's how to land an airplane. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Yeah, I'm glad the weather kind of is holding off a little bit here. That's kind of cool. I was quite concerned. Alrighty, whoops, we went past the airport. I better turn. And this version doesn't climb as well either. The fall one, at the power setting I would have been at 1800 before I ever turned. But this one, not so much. So we're at 150. Go back to 2000. Whoops, not that much. Go 2000 RPM. Look, make sure the runway's back. I'm at 90 degrees with it. So nose is dropping a little bit. The airspeed was starting to increase. So just pull back on the yoke just a little bit. Trim it for that, and should be able to hold this pattern at about 80 knots. So. You can tell when I'm turning, the nose is dropping a little bit. Airspeed going up. Just pull back on the yoke a little bit. Try to get her level. Just nice, slow, standard rate turn. All right, 060. Looking for the end of the threshold. Alrighty, we're in the white arc, 1 knot to flaps. Try to get the nose down a little bit here, so we can start getting closer, start descending here. So I'm at 2,000 feet, so I'm about 200 feet high. I'll pull power just probably about to 1800, something like that. See where we go. Yeah, when I try to use my index controllers with the G2 and Microsoft Flight Simulator, I have horrendous tracking problems. All of a sudden the tracking will just go away. I turn to 330. So I cannot, the thing no longer tracks. I don't know what the deal is. So probably tomorrow I'm going to, oh, they're not their flaps. Probably tomorrow I'm going to try to do a stream using the index, the G2 controllers, and to see if it's related to that. I believe it is, but the tracking just goes away. It is. When I move my head, it's so hard to explain. Like right now, the plane's going to stay stationary, and my view outside the plane, it's going to move. What happens is when I move my head, the plane moves with me. It's really, really bizarre. And so I'm going to try it with the G2 controller, so to see if that's better. So, alrighty, I am a bit too high. Maybe not. We'll see how it goes. I need to be when I turn around 1,200 feet. I probably will end up okay. I'm not doing too bad. Plane's pretty well trimmed. 62 knots, that's not too bad. Probably a little slow, but not enough I'm gonna stall. Alrighty. Looking for the runway. Bring her on in. Run to the lake a little bit here before I bring her down. There we go. Well, that's not your flaps it's in? Flaps up. Whoops. I looked away for a split second. Alrighty. I think we're gonna do one more takeoff and landing. And my next landing, I think I'll do a full stop. Up we go. Oh yeah, that's better. That was my goal today, to get this version of the 172 working good with my yoke, and I think I got that figured out. Yeah. Couldn't believe how long I could keep the stall horn on without actually just stalling a couple of feet off the runway. I was really, really surprised. That's why you could see me kind of like looking. Pull the power back. You could see me looking. I was looking down to try to see see where the runway was, how far above it I was. I just kept looking out the corner here, and kind of like, no, I'm not that far up. I'm okay. That's what I was looking at. I was looking at how far above the runway I was. And I didn't seem to be too far above it, so I was good with that. Alrighty, I turned my heading of 060. Yeah, this looks way better than what it does in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yeah, so like right now, like I'm flying like pretty level. If I see the altimeter like dropping a little bit quicker than what I want, or the indicator, the vertical speed indicator, you know, it's like whichever way it's going. So if I pull out, you know, so if I see it's dropping a little too much, I just pull out on it a little bit, and then just turn the trim, just pull the trim wheel down to kind of, because I can see when that happens, I can see the airspeed is increasing. So I'm trying to keep it at 80 knots. So, and I'm trying to descend here, but not at a really big rate, just to descend. We went by the threshold. I should have had my flaps out. They're out now. So now, because I put the flaps out, the airspeed will tend to decrease. So so I need to drop the nose so that I can maintain that airspeed. So right now I'm at, looks like 75 knots right now. So, looking good. Nice slow turn here. Heading of 330. Another notch of flaps. Looking for the runway. There's the railroad tracks. Turn in on final. That's not your flaps. Not bad. Better approach. Yeah, that was a much better approach. Okay. Go on over to parking. Oops. Yeah, so now because I have the engine, the RPM down under 1,000, then the reality expansion pack is telling me that I'll foul the spark plugs if I don't do something. So what I did is I pulled out my mixture so that I can run it I can idle at this speed, and so when I come out here this morning, beginning of the stream, I was at about 1,000 RPM, and right now I'm probably at 800. So I'm going back much slower, but because of that, I had to pull the mixture out to make sure I don't foul my plugs up. So, and I'm almost too slow right now. But the other thing you can see is if I try to give it full power, you can just hear the engine. That's because I have the mixture pulled back and it can't get, basically it's too lean, so it can't really develop the power it normally does. So. Yeah, it's turned out pretty good. Pretty happy. So we'll come up here and yep, that looks about there's a little bit of a wind. Light and variable would be right. So pull power back. Alrighty. Scoot on across the runway here, get over to the general aviation parking. Let's find a taxi line here. Where is it? There it is. It's like I had the throttle pull all the way back and I'm still accelerating. I'm like, what is wrong with this thing? Alrighty. So get over here. Okay, lined up. So turn off the avionics. Parking brake on. Pull the mixture back to cutoff. Master's off. And release the parking brake. Okay. So I think. Alrighty. I'm gonna go outside. In Microsoft Flight Simulator, it'd be nice if you can do this. Of course, we don't have touch controllers, so you can't do this unless you have touch controllers. But the fact that you can go out and basically look at your airplane and go all over the place. So you see all these little circles. So if I go right here, so that basically I went to where that circle, where the big circle was with the red marker. I just went to that position. So this is what you're allowed to do in X-Plane is you can You can have all these hotspots set out. So I go back here. So I'm back behind the rudder. So so if I pull back on my yoke and shove it forward, or yeah, I can't do the trim right here. But if I had a physical trim wheel and not in the cockpit, I could actually see that trim tab right there. I could see that moving up and down. But one thing that Reality Expansion Pack allows you to do is, let me see if I can get to it. Plugins, Reality Expansion Pack. No, don't want that. I'll try this one more time, see if I can remember what it was called. Hello. Toggle walk around. That's what I wanted. Okay. So we have a couple of different modes. We have this one here is like a pre-flight, and I'm in post-flight. So, and when this shows up, it's attached to my headset. To my headset. So when I move back and forth, it'll move. But if I grab a hold of this, I can put it wherever I want. So we're going to go to the front of the airplane. I'll find it. So I'm going to go right here. So this says toggle the pitot heat cover. So I'm going to click on that button so it put the pitot heat cover on. So when I'm going to grab a hold of this and click on next, we're going to go to the tail. So I'll go back over here, spin around over here to the tail. And it's going to do the tie down. So I toggle the tie down. Okay. And click on next. Now we're going to go over and we're going to tie the wing down. So, whoops. Where was it? That one. So we'll toggle the tie down. I'm kind of behind it, I think. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we click on next. And we want to check on the tire. So something that was going on when I was using this before is when I would come in for a landing, it was saying that it said I had the brakes on. And so whenever it said that, and this was with the Reality Expansion Pack, so whenever it said that, I would get damage on my tires. But right now you can see the tire status is in the green. So that didn't happen this time. So we'll toggle the shocks. Yep, now the shocks are on. Go next. Now we're going to go to the nose. Right there. So we're going to toggle the cover. Come on, there you go. So we got the cover on. And we're going to go over to the go over to the wing tie down. Yeah, we'll try here. Yeah, that should work. So that's good. And that should be it. So we'll toggle the shocks. And the tire looks good too. So we'll toggle the shocks. And it says we're finished. So So this allows you, and this is all part of the reality expansion pack. So it allows you to do, I'm doing a post-flight. There's also a pre-flight that allows you to kind of like make sure the plane is all ready. You've got rid of all your shocks. You've got rid of all your tie downs, and pitot cover. Also check the oil, check the fuel. You can do all that stuff in a pre-flight, all in VR. And so I really want Microsoft Flight Simulator, the VR. I really want that to be able to, in the end, and it'll take them some time, but in the end, this is what I consider. I've only flown in for VR, X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Simulator. These are my point of reference. But I've been playing X-Plane VR for probably almost, well, a little over 3 years. I've seen it from its infancy, and all of these features were not there. Just like Microsoft Flight Simulator, but this is what's possible. And if we can get the kind of these type of things with the, no doubt, the scenery is just astounding. So the scenery is, the scenery in X-Plane is okay. The scenery in Microsoft Flight Simulator is astounding. No doubt in my mind, they did an awesome job. But that's kind of my viewpoint is like I said, I fly with a physical yoke and with pedals. Everything else I do with touch controllers. I don't have a mouse. I don't need a mouse. A mouse to me is that's not what VR is. It's just not. X-Plane has a VR mouse. If the touch controllers work, there's no point. And one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pop back in the cockpit. And I wanted to bring up a plug-in. Where is it? Actually, a couple of them. I'm going to bring up Avatab first. Here's Avatab. So basically, this little guy. So it's kind of like having a tablet in your airplane. So you can go like airport. So if I want to go to KERI, KERI, and click on OK. Say yep. So basically, it gives you all the frequencies. It gives you all that kind of stuff. So the other thing I can do, go back and I'll do maps. So this map here is OpenStreetMap, but also I can go find a sectional. So I think these are geotips. Charts. Sectional. Whoops. Sectional Detroit. So, this is a sectional chart. The Detroit sectional. Yeah, and I'm like too close to my cockpit. I need to fix this, but the point is, so this is a live map. There's my airplane. This is a sectional, and I can like if I want to go back out a little bit so I can look further, I can do that, or get back in where I was, about like that. But you can also like move the plane. So if I just put my touch controller wherever I want, hold down the trigger, move it. So you can move it wherever you want. Also charts. So we go to Bradford. So this is an airplane diagram from Bradford. So these are PDF files that I have available to me. In the same way, I can like zoom them up, zoom them down. But these are allowed to. So you can have this in inside VR. And also this one here, providers. So this allows, I don't have a Navigraph account. A lot of people do. This allows Navigraph stuff to be inside, be usable with Avatab. So that is pretty cool. But ChartPacks is free, and so you can also use ChartPacks for their charts and stuff. You can also use that, but ChartPacks is free. What else we got? Yeah, if you have like a POA or pilot operation manual, you can have that stuff here. I don't have anything, so I don't have anything in there. But that's one thing. The other thing, I'll just slide this out of the way. I want to show one other plugin. This is VR Tools. So I'm going to go to Hotspots. Hotspot Editor. Hello. So, when I was outside, you seen all the little circles. These are all the walk-around places. But what this allows you to do is while you're in the cockpit, you pick the pilot seat, so I can move my position down, up, forward, forward, backward, and these are left and right. So what it allows you to do is get your seat position where you want it. Once you do, you basically click on relog. It will update this information from what it found. Click on update, and when you click on update, there's another button. I think it's confirm, something like that. Once you do that, if I pop out of the plane and pop back in, if I reload the airplane, that new position has been saved, and now you will, when you come into this airplane, it will be at the position you put yourself in, and it remembers that. It remembers that in a configuration file that basically is attached to the aircraft, so it's in the aircraft folder, and just a great tool. Just a great tool. So, I mean, so that's kind of, cancel. It's kind of where I'm coming from is, I've been using all these tools, you know, for basically years, in VR. So, so that's kind of what's possible. And it's just time for people to create them. The SDK that comes with X-Plane allows us to do all of this stuff. What I'm not so sure is how, because I spent no time at all looking at the SDK for Microsoft Flight Simulator, I do not know how robust that SDK is. The VR part of the SDK for X-Plane didn't come as soon as X-Plane had VR. I think it was, wow, at least 6 months from when VR got released till we had the VR part of it was in the SDK where you could actually do things. And the very first plugin that worked in VR was this one here. This is called X Checklist, and I am a co-author of this. I was the one that brought it to VR. My co-author is the parser and the voice expert. That's a little above my pay grade. But I was the one that used the SDK and allowed that to basically be in VR. So what I ended up doing is I made it, this is what's important to me. If you notice, most of my windows in VR I can see through. Because it's kind of important. If I have the window like over here someplace, I don't want my view to be blocked. I want to be able to see through it. And to me, that's an important part of any kind of window you put in VR. And like my chatty window here that's in VR, that's translucent, so I can see through it. And I normally have it about there where when I'm coming in for a landing, I can actually see right through it. And so it doesn't block my vision in any way, shape, or form. Windows that are solid are solid. You can't see through them. I don't like them in VR unless you can put them like up over your head or something, you know. But that's just my views. Okay, I think I'll call it a day. It actually went well. To anybody, I'll push this up on. This was a good enough stream that I'll certainly push this up on my YouTube channel probably in a day or two. But to anybody who watches this in the future, Benny, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I just really wanted to kind of show off how I want my my valve index controllers to work with the G2, and I need to get them working in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think there's something going on. I don't know what that is yet, but like I said, probably tomorrow, because I'm going out for dinner in a little bit. Probably tomorrow I'll try to do that and do something similar, I think, in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and but using the G2 controllers, because they seem to get along better right now. But the fact that I can have, you know, because like you were talking about is, so I'm using OBR Toolkit, and so I'm using Steam VR, and I'm using Windows Mixed Reality for Steam VR. So that allows me to do all that stuff. And for the for OBR Toolkit and for my touch controllers to work, my Valve Index touch controllers to work with my G2 headset, I have to have that. So I think I'll call it a day. And thanks so much, guys. This has been a lot of fun. I had a great time. All I gotta do is see if I can find my yoke, put my controllers down, and stop streaming. Thanks.